the weekly show that helps you stay up to date on the ever-changing landscape that is retirement. And right now, if you're on Medicare, you need to be paying attention. This is the time of year when you can change your drug plan, or you can even switch from an Advantage plan back to a supplement. This is the time of year where you want to review it, because when you go to the doctor or the pharmacy next year in January or February, and you're like, what? That costs how much? Or you're not in this network anymore, or you're not covering this, or you're not taking Medicare anymore, whatever it is, the time to figure that out is now, so you can do something about it, not next year because your options are limited, if maybe non-existent. So you have a story about Gloria, and you said this was a perfect example of why someone needs to check their plan every year, even if you didn't make changes last year, because you never know when something's going to sneak up on you. And so talk to us about Gloria's story here.
Yeah, well, Gloria's a really interesting one. Gloria and I have a long history. Gloria was actually one of the very first people, whenever I started in this industry, that I was able to meet with. And before she was working with us here at Market Medicare Advisors, she had an outside advisor. She had her money here. Whenever I came into the picture, of course, she started coming to us for her Medicare advice. Well, her previous advisor had done good by her. She had had a great plan. So for the past 3 years, I've never had any recommendations to make to Gloria. She came in, her drug plan was still great. She wasn't making changes to her medications, and she had a great Medicare supplement. Now this year, that completely changed. The prescription drug plan that she was taking, they actually nearly doubled her premium. Now, the premium alone is not always what's important on the prescription drug plans. It's always that combined cost of premium plus what you pay at the pharmacy. But it just so happened that there was another prescription drug plan that had a low premium that still covered all of her drugs. So it just goes to show that even if you've been going to these open enrollment meetings with advisors for 5, 10, 15 years, you never know when that 1 year is going to be that you can make massive changes and look to save quite a bit of money.
So she has a Medicare supplement plan. So plan G or plan F, or?
Yeah, she's with the plan G.
Okay, that's typically, that's the most popular probably one they go with. And, so it's very important to not just watch the price of that creep up as time goes on, because sometimes you guys can help them save money there. But this drug plan, the Part D that goes along with the Medicare supplement. So let's talk about the other side of the coin. Someone that has maybe Medicare Advantage. They don't see these premiums creep up on them because typically most Medicare plans that are Medicare Advantage don't have a monthly premium in addition to their Part B. Man, I sound like I'm reading from a government disclosure here, but you got to do that with Medicare.
A lot of red tape.
Yeah, but so with a Medicare Advantage plan, they're not maybe seeing that prescription premium creep up on them over time because it's part of their Medicare Advantage plans. Why would they need to review that?
Yeah, that's an excellent question. So like I talked about with prescription drug plans, I said right up front that premium is one of the important factors, but the other important factor is what you're paying at the pharmacy. So even if you take that premium away, what you pay at the pharmacy can still change on a year-to-year basis. And even more important than what you can pay, because they can adjust their cost on a Tier 1, Tier 2, Tier 3 medication. They could also completely stop covering medications. They could change what tier a medication is in. So even if your drug stays Tier 2, it's always been Tier 2, your copay's always been $15, now that could jump up to $30, $40. Or that Tier 2 drug that you've been taking forever could drop all the way to a Tier 5, which is going to drastically change your cost. Now, when these insurance companies are sending out their annual notices of change, whenever you look at a prescription drug annual notice of change, Matt, this is a 15-page fine print booklet that's got every single medication listed out. Unless you're combing through that with a fine-tooth comb, you're not going to see all your medications and know exactly what you're going to pay.
So that's the thing, they mail them in the mail every year?
Yes, absolutely.
And so, I had a gal one time say, I'm not going to read that. She goes, I start my chimenea with it. So that was good that she gets some use out of it. But she goes, I'm gonna work with your guys here. I'm gonna hear what's changed and what's not, and being able to sit down with you guys with the list of medications, the doctors they're seeing, talk about what's going on in their situation, and you guys say, okay, well, this is how this plan covers you here. and this is how this plan covers you here, and helping them wade through all this sea of over information. It has to give them peace of mind knowing that you speak this language, you know what's going on. And I'm sure you have some people that just sit down and say, just tell me what I need. And it's like, no, that's not what we're going to do. We're going to talk about this. I mean, tell us a little about that process.
Yeah, well, whenever we do deal with Medicare, Medicare is one topic that I firmly believe there is too much information about it. And because there's too much information, it's very easy to get lost. And the worst mistake that I ever see people make is they come in, they're overwhelmed with information, so they say, oh, well, I'm just going to do what my sister did. I'm just going to do what my neighbor did. They talk about their plans, they love it. This neighbor, they hate Medicare supplements. They only want to go Medicare Advantage. That's what I want to talk about. The other one, I only like Advantage. I don't even want to, or only like supplements, whatever it may be.
Right.
And Matt, the best thing about my job is that I am blessed to have all 4 of my grandparents still with me, and I help all of them out with their Medicare. And all 4 of them have very different Medicare plans. But if you sat down with any of them and asked them, they would tell you that they have the best thing on the market. And they're not lying.
For them.
It's for their very specific circumstance.
Yeah.
You're not kidding when you talk about the thousands of different options or combinations you can have when it comes to deciding what you're going to do with your Medicare insurance.
And just because you had it figured out last year doesn't mean everything's been
Gloria had it figured out for 5 years, and then eventually we make a change.
Well, and there's even a company here, and there's a company locally, and I know the counties vary. It has to do with an Advantage plan. They're just doing away with a plan and putting people on other plans, and they need to pay attention to that.
Yeah, whenever an insurance company, they do have the right to pull plans from market. And when that happens, they then have the power to put you into what they consider your next best fit. Now, I want to firmly believe that the insurance company is trying to act in the client's best behavior. But did they sit down and have those hour-long conversations with the client and figure out what are your goals in retirement? Are we traveling? Do we have a health history here? Tell me a little bit about your parents, your aunts, your uncles. If those conversations aren't being had, it may be from first look the next best fit, but whenever you dive into it, there can be some massive gaps.
And that's what you guys do day in, day out, especially this is your big time of the year. And thanks for taking some time out of your guys' busy schedule. I know you guys are just slammed, but guys, if you're on Medicare, you don't want to wait until next year to figure out you didn't have the plan that was best for you. And if you don't have someone that can help you walk through this, and it's no obligation, it's entirely complimentary, they want to help you. And there's some times where you guys don't even do anything. It's like, no, you got the best plan. We'll see you next year. You need to reach out right now, 833-888-HOUR, or that's 833-888-4687. Or you can go over to the website, retirehour.com, and book that complimentary consultation today in any of our offices across Kansas City or Missouri or Wichita. Well, stay tuned. We'll be right back with Lauren Dietz of Market Tax Services talking about a tax planning appointment her and I had just this past week. Stay tuned.